Imagine a world where every child wakes up in a safe place, where no one fears violence, and where conflicts are solved with words instead of weapons. This dream isn't new, it's the heart of peace education. In today's lesson, we'll travel through history, from ancient wisdom to modern global initiatives, to understand how peace education came to be. This is Social Studies Simplified, and together, we're going to see how history has shaped the way we teach peace today. What is peace education? Peace education is more than a subject, it's a lifelong process of teaching about the dangers and consequences of violence, while also giving people the tools and values to live peacefully with others. It's not only about avoiding war, it's about learning how to live without harming others, how to resolve conflicts without violence, and how to respect the dignity of every human being. Think of it like planting seeds. These seeds are values, respect, empathy, cooperation. If we plant them early and care for them, they grow into peaceful communities. But if we neglect them, weeds like hatred and injustice can take over. The amazing thing is, this idea is not new. In fact, human beings have been trying to teach peace for thousands of years, long before formal schools or textbooks existed. Ancient roots. Many of the earliest lessons in peace came from religious and philosophical traditions. In Buddhism, there is the principle of ahimsa, non-violence, not just in action, but even in thoughts and words. In Islam, the very word salam means peace, and the Quran teaches about justice, compassion, and avoiding oppression. Christianity emphasizes, love thy neighbor, reminding us to care even for those who are different from us. Indigenous peoples across the world have valued harmony, living not only in peace with other people, but also with nature. However, history also reminds us that these ideals were sometimes ignored or even twisted to justify violence. For example, the Crusades between Christians and Muslims from 1095 to 1291 were fought over control of the Holy Land, showing the complexity of religion's role in peace and conflict. Now, let's fast forward to the early 20th century. The First World War left the world shocked, millions dead, millions more injured or displaced. The scale of destruction was unlike anything humanity had seen before. When the fighting finally stopped in 1918, the world was in shock. People asked, how did we let this happen? How can we prevent it from ever happening again? Out of this pain came a push for education that taught understanding instead of suspicion, dialogue instead of mistrust. The International Institute of Intellectual Cooperation was created to bring scholars and educators together from across nations, planting the first modern seeds of what we now call peace education. But less than 30 years later, the world saw an even darker storm, World War II. In Europe, the Holocaust took the lives of 6 million Jews and millions of others targeted for their ethnicity, beliefs, or disabilities. In Asia, the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki leveled entire cities in seconds. These horrors forced humanity to say, never again. In 1946, the United Nations was created to maintain international peace and security. One of its agencies, UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, was established specifically to promote peace through education, science, culture, and communication. Maria Montessori, a pioneer of education, warned that it wasn't enough to teach facts. We had to teach humanity, to shape not only the mind, but also the heart and soul of every child. She saw peace as something we must educate into existence. In 1989, the world took a major step toward peace when the Convention on the Rights of the Child was signed. This international agreement made it clear, every child has the right to an education that teaches peace, human rights, and respect for others. It wasn't just a nice idea, it became a legal and moral responsibility for nations. Why start young? Because a child who learns fairness is less likely to tolerate injustice as an adult. A child who learns to listen is less likely to start a fight later in life. This milestone recognized that peace isn't only decided by leaders or soldiers, it's something we build every day, starting with the youngest members of society. In 2005, UNESCO released a special guide for training teachers in peace education. Why teachers? Because they shape young minds every day, and if you want to build a peaceful world, you start with those who teach the next generation. Education expert Marmar Mukhopadhyay called peace education, the soul of education. Without it, he warned, all our science and progress risk becoming tools for destruction rather than creation. His message was simple but urgent: peace education isn't optional, it's essential for the survival of both people and the planet. Imagine a world where every classroom teaches kindness, dialogue, and conflict resolution alongside reading and math. That's the vision this guide hoped to make real. Looking at this timeline, we can see the journey clearly. From ancient teachings, to lessons learned after global wars, to international agreements and teacher training, each step reflects humanity's struggle to turn pain into wisdom, and wisdom into action. Peace education is the result of centuries of trial, error, and hope. And now, the most important question: what about you? How can you bring peace into your own corner of the world? Maybe it's as small as speaking kindly to someone who feels left out. Maybe it's standing up for someone being treated unfairly. Or maybe it's simply choosing to listen before you judge. Remember, peace doesn't always start in big conferences, it often starts in the way we treat each other every day. Thank you for joining me in this lesson on the historical development of peace education. I hope you now see that peace is not just a topic in our syllabus, it's a responsibility we all share. This is Social Studies Simplified, where we understand the past, engage with the present, and shape the future. If you found this lesson valuable, subscribe, share it with your classmates, and let's keep building a culture of peace, together. See you in the next lesson.